I've been trying to do a Speaking Squibbish about racism. I just wanted just like a basic explanation of what it was and my feelings about it in general for the video. Something specific or something that's related to, tied to racism, maybe should be in a separate video. I've done multiple takes and I've just had trouble making the video because I just tend to go off on tangents. And it is a subject that I am passionate about. And last night on the Sandhill Shooters channel, on the Get Off My Lawn podcast, we finally tackled the racism and discrimination issue. And maybe we'll come back to it. Maybe we'll have another show about it. Some people might say that, you had 6 white guys on the show, so how can you talk about it? But if you believe that, then that's racist in itself because it needs to be talked about. I'd rather it not be something that we talk about because this really shouldn't be an issue in our country anymore. But when you say that you can't talk about it if you're white, that's racist. And the fact is, he put offers out there for anybody of any background to join the show. He doesn't exclude anybody. If he did exclude people because of their ethnicity or anything else, that would be racist. And Sandhill Shooter is far from racist. The thing is, though, there were no takers. And we had a discussion. Some things were said. I let myself get triggered. It got heated, and I said some things that I'm not going to apologize for, but that some of the things I really didn't want to discuss because I don't feel that they're directly tied to racism, although they're kind of drug into it or people want to tie them to racism. And I have strong feelings about some of that stuff. And other things I talked about are just other things I bickered with the other panelists about have to do directly with racism and how it's perceived and my strong feelings about that. So what I decided to do was I typed out a script. And guys, if you've ever watched any of my videos where I read off a script, you can tell my reading out loud skills suck, okay? So it's going to sound really bad, but this is the best way that I think I can say what I want to say, get my point across, maybe talk a little bit about why I was so passionate in the show last night, and just cover racism from my point of view, from the Speaking Squibbish point of view, just as best I can in general. So here goes. Oh, and there may be other videos in the future that are tied to this or specific things about this or specific incidents or something like that. I don't know at this point. If anybody doesn't like what I have to say, you're entitled to your opinion. If anybody wants to make any comments, I'm leaving the comments turned on. If anybody wants to get a hold of me, my email's out there. You can get a hold of me. But hopefully this kind of explains where I'm coming from, because that's what Speaking Squibbish is all about. It's why I am the way I am, why I feel the way I feel. This is about me. It's not about you. It's not about making a statement. This is just why I am the way I am. So here goes. Racism is thinking that your ethnicity is superior to all others. You have the right in this country to feel that way. It may not be a good thing, but there's lots of things that aren't good that we are free to do, free to feel, or free to express in this country, such as flag burning. I let myself get triggered when racism in America is brought up because our country has come so far to deal with intolerance, inequality, and injustice. We do not need our entertainment industry, social and mainstream media, and our politicians to keep destroying the hard work of all Americans and keep digging racism back up and putting it in our face. It is used as a political tool in order to divide us so they can control us. It is used as an excuse for criminal behavior and laziness. I do not side with anybody using it this way. America is a land of equal opportunity. It hasn't always been that way. Some people think that equal opportunity means we are all equal, but that isn't true. We all have strengths and weaknesses. We can use our strengths to get ahead, or we can choose to use our weaknesses to hold ourselves back. There are so many people in this country now and in the past of different backgrounds that have made their mark on history when they were born an unknown, or made themselves prosperous when they were born into poverty. That is something about America we should all be proud of. When was the last time you saw separate restrooms for blacks and whites? Nowadays, they don't even want separate restrooms for men and women. When was the last time you heard of a real lynching? Lots of people fake them to get attention. And lately, some have done it in the name of retribution. They are worse than the people that they say have oppressed them. The blatant racism and discrimination we hear about is artificial. In my experience, affirmative action and forced diversity have prevented me from getting a job because I am a white male, but I was the most qualified candidate. At the places I have worked, I have seen diversity, even when it wasn't forced upon us. The people who were qualified and, more importantly, actually wanted to work were the ones who were hired. Male, female, black, white, Latino, Asian, gay, straight, disabled, young, old, liberal, conservative, atheist, religious. In this country today, you might get the job because you are an air quotes minority, and the employer wants to check off that box on the affirmative action list. How does that make you feel? Wouldn't you rather get the job because of your merits? Lots of people make poor choices. When they blame others for their choices and make it a racial issue, when it is a personal responsibility issue, that is racism. Other people make good choices. They choose to be hardworking and law-abiding and take advantage of the equal opportunity in America that I have already spoken of. Those people set a good example and do not use racism as a crutch throughout their lives. They embody the true spirit of an American. White privilege doesn't exist. I get triggered almost every time I hear the term. I am still waiting for mine because I haven't experienced it. If white privilege were real, I would not be paying taxes that go to fund lazy people's welfare. Notice I said lazy people, not black people, because there's plenty of white people that get welfare too that don't deserve it. I would have never been issued a traffic citation. I would have got that job affirmative action cost me. I wouldn't have to wait in line behind other ethnicities anywhere. I wouldn't have to be worried about being labeled a racist for anything I say or do. White privilege is a myth perpetuated by liberals. White guilt triggers me too. I am not a racist. I will not apologize for my heritage, my feelings, or for being white. Maybe I should do a speaking Squibbish about Southern heritage and pride. I feel it is a separate issue, but when erasing our history, destroying monuments, and perverting Southern heritage and pride in the name of racism happens, I am triggered. I do not support any of this. The American Civil War, the things leading up to it, and the issues created from it that lasted over a century after it ended are a part of American history that has been twisted by both sides involved for negative reactions, negative feelings, division in America, and to push political agendas. We were supposed to heal as a nation afterward. I thought we did. There are people out there who do not study history and want to exploit this to claim that it is the foundation of racism in America. If this were the case, how did the nation ever heal? There are those white people out there that are placating to people of other ethnicities. You guys are full of shit and are helping to resurrect bigotry and keep it alive in our country. There is no place for it here. You say what you say as a preemptive act out of fear of being labeled a racist, fear of being assaulted because you are white, or fear your property will be destroyed, vandalized, or stolen if you don't. Americans are not supposed to be cowards. Some of you have misplaced guilt for something you have nothing to do with. #. It's not about you. I have never had a friend of a different background because I was trying to show everyone that I am not racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, etc. I have made friends because of who that person was as an individual. There are those out there that feign friendship or feign acceptance in order to appear a certain way. Do not tell someone that they are your friend, but then treat them like they are an accessory to your wardrobe. That is racism or sexism or any other ism. In essence, I let myself get triggered over racism and the things that are potentially associated with racism because I am a proud American and our country is better than this. I am frustrated with all of you who do not want to live free and let this go. Hopefully that kind of sums up my behavior last night, and it kind of sums up my feelings, and it doesn't matter to me if you agree with me or not. Thanks for watching.